finally we turn to the issue of overnutrition. And incidentally, it's such a shame that it seems impossible for any country to go from being undernourished, having lots of stunted and anemic children when they're poor, as they move through the economic transition. It seems almost impossible for any country to stop the pendulum in the middle and have a really healthy population. It usually moves right over to the right-hand side, and they end up having a lot of overweight and fat children. And Mexico is, a wonderful example of this, or I should say a terrible example of this. It's hard to pick out a single lean person in this random picture, and many of the kids are suffering from severe morbidity in relation to the fact that they are extremely overweight. This is not good news for a young child. Now, what's going on here? Well, we've been doing a lot of experimentation when I was working in Cambridge and leading a group on energy regulation, where we tried to understand how the body regulates its energy intake. And we would do many experiments to volunteers like this man here, where we would covertly manipulate the content of the diet, and we'd give them foods and then say, just eat however much you want. And we would weigh them and we would measure their body composition and their energy expenditure very carefully. I just want to show you one graph that emerges from that kind of work. So here, what we've done in a number of different studies, each color indicates a different study. We have secretly changed how much energy is in the food. So let's say we give them spaghetti bolognese or something, but one version of it has very little fat and energy, and the other has a lot of fat and energy. And the take-home message here is that as you increase the energy density of the diet, the energy intake increases. In other words, people do not notice. There's no normal biological regulatory mechanism that tells them I'm overeating here. And so if energy density is high, people will overeat. And that, of course, is what's happening with so many of the modern foods, which are extremely highly refined and contain very high energy contents. And the driver of energy density is almost always fat. So here's a graph of energy density on the x-axis and fat content on the y-axis, and divided into fast foods at the top, supermarket ready meals in the middle, and then some Gambian and healthy choice foods down at the bottom. You see there's this very strong relationship. High fat is the primary driver of energy density. And that is why so many of our population are getting into difficulties with overnutrition.